Hello folks, I hope you're all doing well. We are back at the plot on another gloriously sunny day. We have had no rain since the last time. It is baking hot again, so I'm not going to be in here very long. I'm just in here to start the video because it's a little bit windy outside, so I didn't want the microphone getting all fuzzy and all sorts of noise coming across it with the wind and whatnot, because that's a bit annoying when the videos go out. We will be filming outside, so you might get a bit of wind noise, but we'll just have to deal with that, I'm afraid. Anyway, it's been a bit of a funny old week. So it started off on Monday and I made the long drive down to Cumbria to go to Steve's funeral. That's Steve from Greenside Up. It was a lovely service. It was nice hearing from other people who I didn't know who spoke about Steve and little stories and things about his life that he didn't quite know about. And it was really nice to meet Anne, Steve's wife, down there as well. And I also got to meet JB and Hannah from the Potty Mouth Gardening Club, which was lovely as well. So a bit of a mixed day, some nice things and some really quite sad things, but it was nice to go along. Say, it was a lovely service. Steve lived in a beautiful part of the world over there in Cumbria. It's really, really nice, and it was just nice to go and say my final goodbyes and give him a bit of a send-off. But anyway, he would have wanted us back up here, getting on with jobs, getting things done, getting everything ship-shape, and that's a little bit of today. It's a bit of a ship-shape day. So I've got some stuff to plant out still. I've got some squashes I want to put out in that new big U-shaped bed that we've got out there. So that's one of the jobs. I think I'll do that next. Then I'm going to do the marigolds. So we did marigold tunnel last year. I don't even remember that with the peas and the beans and that. We did marigold tunnel and that seemed to work quite well at keeping the pests away. So the fragrance of marigolds is really good at keeping certain pests away, like little flies and aphids and stuff like that. So I used them over there near the peas and the beans and it worked a treat. I'm probably going to put some out in the U-shaped bed near the squashes because I'm going to put a couple of outside tomatoes in there at some point as well. And then I've got a new tie. So I've bought a cordless trimmer and I'll do it. Spent my own hard-earned money on it. But I did pick the cheapest one I could find out of Amazon, B&Q, Argos, Screwfix, all that sort of stuff. I picked the cheapest one I could find to give it a shot. So there's weeds and there's long grass and the stuff, and I'll come to that about the edge of the plot and the outside and the car parking bit and stuff like that. But it just needs dealt with. So I've bought a trimmer, so we'll give it a try and we'll see if it's any good or if I've wasted my money. But we'll see. Anyway, let's crack on with those jobs and get the squash sorted. We're now out at the big raised bed, and let me move out these 3 bits of concrete that were actually in here from the other day when I had the tripod in here filming me inside the polytunnel. So we'll just move that out the way. So you've not seen me filling this big massive raised bed, and for those of you who've not seen it, I'll put a link to the video at the end there, but it goes all the way around the corner and behind the camera there, and it's taken some filling, shall we say, quite a bit of filling. It's taken a lot more compost than I expected, but to give you an idea of what it is, I put down a layer of wood chips all the way around the bottom. That's a good few inches thick. Then we've got a layer of compost. Then I've chopped down some of the comfrey from over there and chopped it up, and we've got a sort of layer of comfrey, and then we've got another layer of compost. Even though I'm going to put these squash and things in there today, I am going to continue to keep putting more compost in there. I don't know if you can quite see there, but the metal brace bar that comes across to here, I want to be above there. So I don't want to be right up to the top of the bed here, but about the sort of second last sort of ridge on the bed here is kind of where I want to get to. So first things first, I've got 3 squash plants here that have fallen over, but they're beautiful little plants. And let me just check the labels. I've got 2 of one variety and 1 of another. So I've got 2 of the uchikuri and 1 of the yellow bush scallop squash. So we'll put the bush scallop squash, I'm going to kind of space them out. I'm going to put 1 here, 1 kind of diagonal over there, 1 behind you that's basically a mirror image of this. Then I'm going to have a tomato plant. I'm just going to fill the rest of it up with just bits and pieces, but hopefully the squash will have loads of space to sort of trail itself and grow all the way around. So squash plants are really, really hungry. They will take any food or anything that I give them, so they're going to get a big old scoop of blood, fish and bone in the bottom of the hole there. So a good handful going in there to start with, and I'll feed these quite a lot throughout the season. I'm just going to pop it in the hole and put that compost in there. And speaking of this compost, massive shout out to my pal Ian Withers, who helps out with the Linlithgow family and everything else. genuinely selfless, all-round good guy who helped me out getting all this compost. He did me a real big favour, and I'm very, very thankful to Ian for helping me out with that. And that's pretty much it, by the way, for the squash. It's just gone in there, and I'm going to do that another 2 times. What I will do at some point is not quite the size of pot, but I want to make sure when I'm watering them and feeding them that it's all getting right down in at the roots, especially when I'm going to top up with some more compost. So I'll dig a hole next to it, you know, and I'll either bury a pretty deep plant pot, or a sort of, you know, the sort of like, I don't know, about 1 litre or 2 litre sort of juice bottle, pop bottles. You know, we'll chop the bottom of it off, and where the top is with the lid, we'll undo the lid, we'll tip it up and we'll plant it in, and we'll water through that, so the water is getting right down there into the roots and not just hanging about on the surface here. So that's there. So let's just put a couple of our sort of protectors in there. These marigolds, I mentioned marigolds quite a few times, and these ones need a good drink. They've been in the greenhouse and it's been roasting in there today. So you can see they've already got some lovely little flowers on, and I'm just going to put one of these either side of the squash. So they're about, you can kind of see with this one, you can't really see it. I'm doing it behind the barrier then, you can't really see it. So it's going to go here. These are sort of level with each other. So they're going to go here, kind of opposite each other. So there's enough room down the middle there for the squash to grow along there. But the marigolds are going to grow, they're going to give off that fragrance and hopefully deter any would-be pests and attackers and things coming along to attack these plants. Right, I'm going to replicate that with the other 2 squash, so we'll crack on with that and I'll come back and we'll get something else done. So, just a very quick job, this one. This here is one of the A-frames that we've got, that we grow the peas on this side, and we've got, what are these ones again? The Aquadulture Claudia on this side. So, what I've been doing, last year I should say that I did this. Let's just give this a little bit of a dig over. The soil, the ground is a little bit, it's not as forgiving, shall we say, as the nice fresh new compost over there in the big bed. So we'll pop them in the marigolds. There's a few weeds down here. Just ignore them. Let's just pretend these aren't here. This needs a little bit of tidying up. I'll get that done at the weekend there. But what we did is all the way down this tunnel, and I'll do it on this one as well. Look at how dry that is, man. Look at that. That's a sad little plant. And obviously I think it goes without saying that right at the very end, everything, and I mean everything around here, is going to be getting a good watering, because it is dry as a bone still. And speaking of the end of the video, if you want to see something funny, hang around for a little bit towards the end and I'll show you something. But well, it might be funny to you. I haven't quite decided yet whether it's going to make me laugh or not, but it's just over there, and I'll show you. You might get a laugh out of it. Might give you something to smile about. But we'll see. But I'm going to do this. Let's see, why am I not using this hoary knife? It makes life so much easier. And we'll plant that in there, and I'll come up the other end. So we'll probably get about 8 all the way down here, and another 8 over there. So I'll replicate that over there. We've got the peas and the French beans grown as well, and it worked wonders last year. It was brilliant. Whether it made a difference or not, I don't know. But what I do know is I didn't have any problems with pests on the peas, on the beans, anything like that. Nothing gave us any bother. Whether it's marigolds or not, I don't know. But I'm going to do it again this year, just to make sure. And anyway, they look lovely and they smell lovely. So what better way to do it? And of course, they attract pollinators. So on to the next job. We're gonna attack the weeds and the things next. So I'll take you over there. We'll have a look about. I'll show you what I'm dealing with, and I'll show you the strimmer, and we'll see whether it's any good or not, and see if we can deal with them a bit or not. So bear with me, and I'll be back with you in just a jiffy. So this is what I'm dealing with all the way along the side of my plot now. This is a private site for allotments, and the garden centre that own the allotments are meant to come along and trim this for us. But it doesn't get done, as you can see, quite as often as I would like. And it's beautiful, it's nice, it's lovely. But the problem is, all these bits of grass and things like that are going to set seed, and the wind's going to blow, and this is my plot right here, and it's just going to get covered in weeds. Look at these big behemoth things here that are busy just starting to flower. And as soon as they set seed, yeah, good luck. So I bought this. It's a strimmer. It's battery powered. It came from Argos. It's a McGregor. So we'll give it a shot. Like I say, it was the cheapest one I could find. I don't want to be spending loads of money on this sort of stuff. Just want to give it a shot. So battery powered. Apparently it takes from 0 charge to full charge 3 hours. I've had it on for a few hours this afternoon, so it should have a full charge. It was dead simple to put together out of the box. I just had to clip this guard thing on at the back here, take a couple of bits of cardboard off. It's extendable, you can put it up and down different heights, you can change the angle if you want to do edges and stuff like that. But to be honest, I'm just going to use it as a straightforward strimmer, and let's just see how good the battery powered strimmer is. Right then, let's have a look at where we are now. So let me just pop you around here, and hopefully you can see all the way along here, so all the way to the end here where this other person's plot is. I've managed to get all this trimmed. There's a couple of little bits like that big woody sort of horrible looking thing about here that I couldn't quite get through, but the batteries last for ages. Still loads of charge left in the battery, so I managed to come all the way down the side of the plot here. What I haven't done is between the fence and the polytunnel there, that needs doing, but I'm not quite, you know, I've got faith in my ability to be quite accurate with the strimmer, but I'm not quite brave enough to go down the side of the polytunnel yet. But I've got a bit of a plan for that, and I managed to get all the way down here, all the way down the side of the raspberries and up there, sort of up to the tap. We've got this messy bit done in here, and we've got some other messy bits done around and about. But you know, for the cheapest strimmer that I could find in all of the usual outlets, like I say, Amazon, B&Q, Wix, whatever else it was, I'm pretty impressed with how it's done. The battery's lasted for ages, there's still loads of charge left in it, it's going strong. I've managed to get everything done that I wanted to get done, so you know, pretty impressed with the old McGregor. So let's just have a quick sum up of what we've done and a little bit of a look at something. So everything's had a water, you can see everything's all nice and damp, and look, we've got, you see them there, we've got red strawberries there ready to be picked. So we'll have a little look down here. Here's the frames, the A-frames, so we've got the marigolds in the middle there. They'll come along nicely. Like I say, they all look a bit sad at the moment. Everything always does when it first goes in. It just needs a little bit of water and a little bit of time, and it'll pick itself up and it'll be looking smashing. Now this is what I wanted to show you. And excuse me for the shadow there. Let me just move around a bit and try and make that look a little bit better. So we've got 2 rows here of what essentially to me looks like weeds, and lots of weeds. Now this is me attempting to grow a parsnip for the parsnip challenge from the Potty Mouth Garden Club. Now I've never grown a parsnip before in my life. I'm reasonably competent at growing things like carrots and all that sort of stuff, so just how hard could it be to grow a parsnip? So all this was dug, all the soil was milled, it was put back in, some special seed was put in there, some special parsnip seed, it was watered, it was looked after, it was given TLC, and I've managed to grow weeds, and lots of them. The only little bit of hope I've got, and somebody might be able to help me out here, is it? No, I don't think that is a parsnip. Is it that there? Let me show you. I don't think that's the top of a parsnip starting to grow. I think that is weed. I think it's all weeds. So I've done a tremendous job of growing some weeds, and I'm sure, right, if I didn't know any better, I would say this was Steve's last laugh, because he grew tremendous parsnips, and I think he thought, let's see what we can get these guys to do, this will be funny. And he's up there now having a good chuckle at me growing a whole bed full of weeds. So I think we're going to replace them with onions at some point, and we'll have a little walk down here. Right, and let me spin you around here, look, so you can see the full glory of the new raised bed there, and we'll move in a little bit, because we've got the squash, and we've got the squash, 3 squashes, and we've got the marigolds sort of scattered about, and there's some more things going to fill in some of these gaps. But hopefully the idea is the squash is going to trail down here around the corner, trail down there around the corner, trail down there around the corner, and we'll have lots of yummy squashes in the months to come. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please think about subscribing. It's absolutely free. Just click the red button down below and that will help you subscribe. Like I say, it doesn't cost you anything. But that is me done for today. Hopefully I will see you on the next one. Bye for now, folks.